Hi, friends. My name is Emily Miller. I work as a registered psychotherapist with kids and teens in the Ottawa area, Ottawa, Ontario, Canada, supporting kids and teens in their mental health and well-being, as well as their parents. And today I'm putting together, I guess I'm going to call it a podcast. Maybe it's just an audio offering that I'm putting out there to parents. I'm hoping to keep it short so that this is like really digestible and maybe something that you can just fill in, put into your day. Because I understand we totally all have busy lives, and I just really want this to feel gentle and supportive. I am naming this Pause, Play, Repeat for mental health. Now, let's get started. Let me ask you something. When was the last time you really played with your child? I'm not talking necessarily about like supervising a game or scrolling your phone while they build Lego towers. I mean, really played. Got down on the floor, let go of time, let the child lead maybe, and you were just there with them. For most of us, that question could sting a little. But life is full, schedules are packed, and honestly, we're overstimulated and exhausted. But here's what no one really tells us. Play isn't just good for kids, it's helpful and healing for us as adults too. Today, we're exploring why pausing and playing with our kids isn't just a nice to have, would be nice in my schedule if I could. It's essential for their emotional development and for our mental health and connection as parents too. And here's the best part. It doesn't require more time. It simply requires more presence. So if you're feeling burnt out, disconnected, or like the days are flying by without really feeling them, this one, this audio, this podcast, whatever it is for you. Let's begin with a deep breath together. If you're not driving, maybe placing a hand on your heart if that feels comfortable for you. And let's just inhale through the nose, holding it for a second at the top, and then exhaling slowly. You're here. That's enough. Allow yourself to land right here. Let's go. Let's start with what this looks and feels like in real life. What does this mean to pause and play? Well, a mom I worked with once, a mom that I was like supporting, so I was working with her child and then on the side offered her support. Um, she said to me, I just feel like I'm always rushing. And then at night, I lie in bed and feel guilt for missing the little moments. It is such a common experience, isn't it? We get so caught up in doing, in all the doing, packing lunches, driving here or there, managing meltdowns, answering emails, that we forget to just be. But children don't remember the rush, I promise. They remember the feeling of being seen. In play, well, this is their first language. This is an incredible space to feel seen. Play is how children process their emotions. Play is how they feel connected. So when we join them in play, we are sending the message, I delight in you just as you are. And that message builds emotional safety and it lays the foundation for lifelong mental health. What do I mean by that? It builds resilience, self-worth, and it can build trust in relationships as well. And the science backs this up, I promise you. Shared play actually lowers cortisol, the stress hormone, and boosts oxytocin, the bonding hormone. So, and honestly, that's true for both your child and the adult or the parent that's playing along as well. So, through play, we practice co-regulating. And what does this mean? I mean, we've probably heard this word and we're like, okay, but what exactly does that mean, anyways? Co-regulating is the process where kids borrow our calm. They borrow the calm of the adult, borrow our presence to find their own center. So we model calm, model presence, and the child can co-regulate as well. They can see that and feel that in themselves. Through play, we're building trust and emotional safety, as I said, and spending time together shows physical presence, but also emotionally, you are saying to them, I am here with you just as you are. Now, let's talk about the other half of this. Talked a little bit about playing, but what about the pause? Whenever I say pause and play, repeat the title of this audio offering. Let's talk about this pause. We live in a world that keeps us outside of our own experience. Constant stimulation, screens, expectations, worrying about what's next, comparing ourselves to what others are doing. But when we pause, it's like we're coming back to ourselves. We notice our breath. We notice our body. We make space for what we feel. We turn inward and we check in on our own home, our body being our home. We check in on ourselves, our experience. That's how we learn to recognize anger, joy, sadness in ourselves and in our kids too. And this is what teaches emotion regulation. For example, a child who pauses and notices and maybe says even out loud, I feel frustrated, instead of throwing the pencil across the room, and that's emotional growth. That's regulating. There's even this saying in neuroscience, name it to tame it. When we can feel and label a feeling as mad, sad, nervous, it actually quiets the emotional storm inside the brain. And here's another kind of fun fact. A single slow, mindful breath can signal to the brain, you're safe. And that can shift us out of fight or flight mode in like so quickly. And these pauses aren't just for the hard moments, right? It also opens up space to feel more joy, to feel more presence, to feel more connection. And I guess one more little like neuroscience nugget that I have on the mind that I just love is that over time, putting in these moments of pause, these mindful moments to breathe, can actually shrink your amygdala. And the amygdala is the fear center of your brain. So, yes, if you're raising a little worrier, shall we say, these moments truly matter. Putting these pause moments in the day can shrink that fear center that is so quickly activated at times in our little warriors. So, putting pauses in our day, so many benefits. Now, you might be wondering, okay, but how do I actually do this? Here are some everyday pause moments that you could try with your child. Let me just drop some ideas, take what you like, what you need, what you feel into, and leave the rest. Gentle permission to do so. So these are some ideas for, as I say, pause moments that you might try with your child at home. You might say, let's take a deep breath together before we pick out our clothes. If morning times transitions are difficult in the morning, maybe that's a good time to put one in. Maybe at bath time, we prompt them to pause and feel into their body. How does the water feel on your skin, we might ask? Or perhaps before a meal, we could do like an invitation for the full family sitting at the table. Let's notice what our food smells and tastes like. So this is an invitation. You can hear it, right? An invitation to pay attention to what's going on in the body in everyday tasks. Or maybe after something exciting has happened or upsetting, we could say, let's sit for a moment and see how our heart feels right now. Just pause and notice and be alongside them. Or maybe here's another idea before a big game or a test. You might give them the invitation, like, let's take a breath and remind ourselves, we've got this. Mixing in the pause moment with some positive um, or helpful affirmations, helpful soft talk. Love that. Another idea for implementing these pause moments into your everyday, perhaps like say with your preteen or teenager after an argument, you might say, do you want to take a breath together to reset? This models emotion regulation for both yourself and an invitation for your preteen teen. And it's also encouraging reflection, right? And then while I'm on the topic of like older teenagers, preteens, with this invitation to like take a pause and breath, in order to get their buy-in, I might suggest like adding their favorite song to the invitation and saying something like, let's listen to your favorite song and for 2 minutes just like pay attention to our breath or notice like the sounds. These small moments, as I say, can model regulation. And they say this is what you're essentially communicating to the child, which I love, is like, I can feel and I can stay with this feeling. You're modeling that in yourself. I can feel my feelings and I can stay with this feeling. And you're inviting them to do the same. We can feel this feeling and stay with it. And you are alongside them through it. I just love that. Especially for mental health and well-being. Oh my. Like, oh, as parents, you are their greatest resource. You can do this. Now, let's get into those were moments of like pause in the day, but I also have some thoughts on like examples of play. And let's be honest, these are endless. But I've got some ideas that are based off of like core memories of my own. So playing might look like building a fort or playing their favorite card game. Ours as a family was Phase 10 as as young kids. Actually, we still play it now. Let's not kid ourselves. Um, Maybe examples of playing together is like creating a silly story or a song together. Maybe it's shooting hoops. I used to do this with my dad, just one on one, and I have a feeling he would let me win the odd time. But anyways, biggest suggestion is to follow your child's area of interest and imagination and be alongside them in moments of play. One of my favorite studies asked kids, how do you know your parents love you? And I promise you, the most common answer was not because they say I love you or because they buy me things. But you know what it was? It was they play with me. So here's a gentle invitation just for today. Can you give your child 5 minutes of undivided attention? Maybe letting them lead, no rules, no agenda, phones down, distractions away, just leading with curiosity, perhaps. Or can you take a pause, maybe taking one breath before responding, noticing what's happening in you before reacting? Or perhaps your pause moment is inviting your child with you by saying, let's take a breath together and let's reset. And when your child sees you doing this, I promise you that they learn the feeling of it's safe to be with my feelings, it's safe to be me. I've got other invitations for you to practice that could feel supportive. You could practice pausing and playing together with my offering called Pause and Play. Here to support you in developing this skill of connection and co regulation together through playful videos and activities. And let me leave you with this. You don't need to do more, okay? You don't need to get it all, quote unquote, right. This is simply an invitation to be present. A pause, a breath, a moment of play. It might seem small, but it can shape the way your child sees themselves and how they show up in the world. And for you, I promise you'll feel more connected to your child and to yourself. So this week, I hope you find moments to pause and play. You've got this.